To create a happier life, you need to understand the relationship between pleasure and happiness. Too often, people confuse pleasure with happiness. They chase pleasure and don't understand why it leaves them so unhappy. What people often fail to realize is that pleasure can either increase or decrease people's happiness depending on how it's used. So, what's pleasure? Pleasure involves external activities that make you feel good. Drinking alcohol is pleasurable. So is playing Xbox, spending money, and indulging in sweets. It's no surprise that these pleasurable things can add to happiness. Who doesn't feel happy after eating chocolate? But pleasure comes with a catch. Indulge in too much pleasure, and your life may take a turn for the worse. You may find yourself losing happiness instead of creating it. Pleasure is all about chasing a short-term rush. It feels good in the moment, but pleasure disappears the moment the thing you were chasing ends. Too much pleasure also leads to long-term consequences. Too much alcohol leads to problems with the law. Too much chocolate damages your health. Too much Xbox could harm a relationship. Overindulging in pleasure leads to problems, and these problems often block happiness. Think back to last week's definition of happiness. Happiness involves living out intentional daily habits that lead to long-term well-being. Happiness is something that happens internally, and unlike pleasure, happiness requires some self-discipline. Happiness might mean saying no to a piece of cake and yes to working out. It's a hard decision in the moment, but at the end of the week, you feel happier about your choice. It's not wrong to seek pleasure. Sometimes pleasure adds to happiness. The key is to use pleasure to your advantage.